I've served in the U.S. Army for 8 years. I'm no stranger to tough situations, deployments, 20-mile ruck marches, leaders who make you question your life choices at 0400. But nothing prepared me for the war I'd end up fighting in my own neighborhood. See, after returning from a rotation overseas, I bought a small house just outside base. Nothing fancy. Just a modest home with a flagpole out front, a patchy yard, and a driveway where I parked my beat-up Ford. That's when I met her. The self-appointed dictator of our HOA. Let's call her Karen. Karen was the chairman, president, CEO, basically the supreme leader of our HOA. She greeted me the day I moved in with a tight smile and a packet of guidelines. I thought nothing of it. Every neighborhood has rules, right? But Karen wasn't enforcing rules. She was enforcing control. At first, I thought Karen was just one of those people. You know the type. A little too into neighborhood rules. Probably spends way too much time writing Facebook rants about trash bins and teenagers skateboarding. Annoying, but manageable. I was wrong. Karen didn't enforce rules. She weaponized them. 2 days after moving in, I came home from work to find a neon orange sticky note plastered to my front door. It read, "Per HOA guidelines, grass must not exceed 2.5 inches in height. Yours measured over 3.0 inches. Unacceptable. Please correct immediately to maintain neighborhood standards." There was no signature, but the handwriting was aggressive. Like each letter was pressed down with the fury of 1,000 suburban moms. Mind you, I'd only moved in 2 days ago. The lawn wasn't even mine yet, technically. But okay, fine. I borrowed a buddy's mower and cut it that night. Problem solved, I thought. The next morning, I caught her. Measuring. With an actual ruler. Out there on her hands and knees in my yard at 6:30 a.m., muttering to herself like some kind of deranged golf caddy. A week later, it was the flag. I've flown the American flag everywhere I've lived. It's not for show. It's a part of who I am. I even follow proper flag protocol. Sunrise to sunset. Illuminated at night. Folded with care. Karen knocked on my door at 9 a.m., sharp, HOA binder in hand. According to Section 3, Subsection B, flags are only permitted on federally recognized holidays, she snapped. I blinked at her. You're telling me I can't fly the American flag, unless it's Memorial Day or the 4th of July? She folded her arms. Those are the rules. I smiled. Ma'am, those rules don't apply. Federal law says otherwise. She scowled, clearly not used to someone pushing back. I'll be reporting this at the next meeting. Then she turned on her heel like a bad sitcom villain. I thought that was the end of it. It wasn't. 2 weeks later, my buddy came by to help me move a couch. He parked in my driveway. My driveway. 30 minutes later, Karen was knocking again, binder clutched to her chest like it contained the nuclear codes. "You can't park there," she barked. I stared at her. "You mean my driveway?" Driveways are for active loading and unloading only. Guests must park in designated visitor spaces. It was absurd. There were no visitor spaces within half a mile. I told her as much. Then he shouldn't be visiting, she sniffed, and stormed off. 2 days later, I got a fine in the mail for unauthorized parking. After that, it became weekly harassment. One day, she claimed my porch light was too bright and ruining the neighborhood aesthetic. Another, she accused me of improper trash placement because my bin was 6 inches closer to the curb than her arbitrary measurement. She even wrote me up for unsightly objects when I left my boots on the porch overnight. But the worst? The day she went after me personally. I had drill that weekend, so, like always, I woke up early, threw on my uniform, and started loading my gear into the car. Ruck, duffel, boots, nothing out of the ordinary. That's when I heard it. The shrill, unmistakable voice of Karen cutting through the morning air like nails on a chalkboard. "Military or not," she snapped, marching across the street. "You don't get special treatment here. People like you think the rules don't apply. You should be ashamed of yourself." I froze, my hand still on the duffel bag. "What exactly am I supposed to be ashamed of, ma'am?" I asked slowly. "Parading around in costume," she sneered. "Parking however you like, flying your little flag, thinking you're above the law. This is a neighborhood, not a base." Something inside me snapped. I didn't yell. I didn't curse. I just gave her the sharpest salute I've given anyone in my career, locked eyes with her and said, "Yes, ma'am." Her face turned beet red as I slid into my car and drove off. But the whole ride to drill, my mind was spinning. This wasn't about grass or flags or trash bins. It was about control. And Karen had decided I was her new enemy. Well, she didn't know it yet. But she'd just declared war on a soldier. Here's the thing Karen didn't understand. When you mess with one soldier, you mess with all of us. At drill the next month, I told my platoon about Karen. You could see the fire light up in their eyes. Soldiers don't like bullies, and they really don't like people disrespecting the uniform. So Operation HOA Justice was born. We didn't break laws. We didn't break rules. We just used Karen's own obsession with the HOA against her. The flag detail. Every morning, different soldiers in uniform would come to my house at sunrise and perform a full military flag-raising ceremony. Precision. Salutes. Bugle music from someone's speaker. Karen came out screaming every time, but it was 100% legal. The parking war. Since the HOA rules didn't specify a limit on visitors, every weekend a different squad member would visit me. My driveway, curb, and half the block were lined with pickup trucks, Camrys, and a Humvee once. All registered guests. No violations. The grass patrol. Karen loved to measure grass height, so I invited a few engineer buddies over. They used laser levels to trim my lawn to exactly 2.5 inches across every square foot. Karen brought her little ruler and found perfection. The complaint flood. Soldiers started attending HOA meetings, in uniform. Every time Karen tried to target me, they'd ask 50 questions about her spending, her enforcement, her violations. Turns out, she hadn't filed the right paperwork for her own backyard shed. The tipping point? One of our JAG officers lived nearby. When he caught wind of it, he showed up in full dress uniform to the next HOA meeting. Calmly pointed out that Karen's flag ban violated federal law, the Freedom to Display the American Flag Act. He even quoted chapter and verse. Karen turned redder than an artillery tracer. Word spread through the neighborhood fast. Other residents, who'd been quietly bullied by Karen for years, suddenly realized they weren't alone. They started pushing back. Petitions were signed, votes were cast, and just like that, Karen was removed as HOA chair. Her reign of terror ended not with a bang, but with a ballot. The best part? She tried to claim harassment by the military. But by then, everyone knew the truth. She wasn't a victim. She was just a tyrant who finally picked the wrong fight. These days, my house is peaceful. The flag still waves proudly every morning, and the grass is exactly as high as I damn well want it. And every time I walk past Karen's house, because yes, she still lives there, I give her a crisp salute. She slams the blinds shut every time.